Good evening, Bahamas. Coming up tonight, an international firm is set to probe last August's removal of the BPL board. Plus, the Prime Minister says tougher penalties are needed for major traffic infractions, and the family of a hit-and-run victim finally gets some closure.
Our News is brought to you by Alive.
Welcome to Our News, and thanks for joining us. I'm Jared Higgs. Topping news tonight, Prime Minister Dr. Hubert Minnis has revealed that the government signed a contract with a company last week to commence a probe into the matters that led to the removal of the former board of Bahamas Power and Light in August. He made the revelation while speaking with reporters on Inagua. It has been reported that the company contracted for the probe is an international financial investigations firm.
Yes, we've signed the contract already, selected the company, and they should commence their questioning and investigations very soon. But I know everything has been signed. No, I'm not giving you the name of the company. Not yet. With time, you'll get that.
When was that signed?
That was signed just last week.
It's been 8 months since former BPL Executive Chairperson Darnell Osborne and other board members were replaced by a new board. Public Works Minister Desmond Bannister claimed at the time that the relationship between board members had deteriorated to the point where they were at odds on almost every critical issue at great cost to the company. Osborne countered that political interference was the main problem. That claim set off a bitter public back and forth between the minister and some former board members. The Prime Minister then promised a probe into the matter, but little was said on that investigation up to this point. Amid calls for harsher traffic legislation, the Prime Minister also revealed that he has spoken with the Law Reform Commissioner about strengthening what he called insulting traffic penalties that exist in the Bahamas. His comments come in light of a recent U.S. report which listed traffic fatalities in the Bahamas as a major concern. Kyle Joaquin reports.
It's just, it's coincidental.
The 2019 Overseas Security Advisory Council report listed traffic fatalities as a major concern in the Bahamas and noted there was a 29% increase in traffic-related deaths in 2018. It also raised concerns about antagonistic tendencies and reckless driving by motorists, as it stated many motorists disobey stop signs, speed limits, and traffic signals. The report's findings come as the Minnis administration looks to beef up road traffic legislation.
Just on Tuesday, I expressed similar concern to my cabinet colleagues that we must look at the traffic legislation because our fines must be much more harsh than what we're saying.
In late March, the Road Traffic Amendment Act 2019 was passed in the House of Assembly. Still, the report notes that the enforcement of legislation is an issue. Minnis agreed, calling current penalties insulting.
There must be vehicular manslaughter. We must look at that because it's insulting for individuals who have knocked or hit down a particular individual and they subsequently die. And it's just basically a slap on the wrist.
The U.S. report also stated that while it is against the law, drinking and driving is common. Police infrequently enforce the ban, resulting in numerous traffic accidents and fatalities. The Prime Minister said before it becomes more of an issue internationally, his government will address this problem.
I think that can have serious repercussions in the international community with time. So I think the fines need to be a lot more harsh. And I've spoken to the Law Reform Commissioner and asked them to look at traffic fines, violations, etc., so that we can have proper legislation to deal with modern-day society.
There were 69 traffic deaths last year. So far this year, 22 people have been killed in traffic accidents in the Bahamas. For Our News, I'm Kyle Joaquin.
A $2 million gift from the U.S. Embassy for the Bahamas placed on the island of Great Inagua. A state-of-the-art Kelvin Hughes long-range coastal maritime surveillance radar is expected to be used in the fight against illegal migration, gun trafficking, poaching, and human trafficking. Prime Minister Minnis called the handover another important step in the government's strategy to strengthen the borders of the Bahamas.
It is a tremendous challenge
to monitor approximately 100,000 square miles of our extensive maritime domain. The installation of technologically advanced long-range coastal radars are an essential component in enhancing the monitoring and better protection of the borders of our far-flung island chain.
Great Inagua is the first island to have the coastal radar system installed. A second radar is expected to be placed on New Providence, and according to the Prime Minister, there are plans for 2 more of these radar systems. Aside from the radar, the Defense Force base in Inagua is set to be expanded and a new base constructed on Ragged Island. The head of every law enforcement agency in the country was on the island for the commissioning. National Security Minister Marvin Dame said to enhance the work done by law enforcement on Inagua, contracts worth over $573,000 have been signed.
The government of the Bahamas is in the process of finalizing a $17 million contract with a vendor for the acquisition of short and medium-range drones to assist with the interdictions and surveillance efforts under a multi-agency drone program.
U.S. Chargé d'Affaires Stephanie Bowers highlighted the partnership between the Bahamas and the U.S. in securing the country's borders.
The information derived through the system in Great Inagua will feed directly into the RBDF's Operations Center at Coral Harbor in real time. This information will significantly increase the Bahamas' awareness of and ability to respond to illicit activity in Bahamian waters and hence better secure the southern approaches to the country.
One family is breathing a sigh of relief tonight after waiting for nearly 2 months to cremate their mother, who was killed in a hit-and-run accident. Jillian Gray reports.
A grieving daughter is beyond grateful now that the generosity of a local funeral home will enable her family to bury her mother, who died tragically in a hit-and-run accident earlier this year. After nearly 2 months of not knowing how they would afford funeral costs, Andalise Steele says they finally have some closure.
Honestly, rescue is a blessing in disguise, no lie, because we would have never made it this far without rescue. They are truly a big help to us right now.
Steele's mother, Diane Morgan, was struck and killed on February 25th near Sea Link Drive. Police say the driver left the scene. Morgan's cash-strapped family pleaded with the public to help them cremate their mother, creating a GoFundMe page to try to raise the funds. A few days after their story broke in the Nassau Guardian, Rescue Memorial Mortuary reached out and offered to handle all of the arrangements free of charge.
The process was not easy to assist in trying to obtain her remains to get it to the funeral home. What happened was that she didn't have the proper IDs that the morgue required and medical records required. So we had to work with the coroners with the NIB card that she had and the some other documents.
After communicating with the Jamaican Council, Her Majesty's Coroner, and the Bahamian Registrar General to obtain a death certificate, Morgan's body was finally released to her family.
It has been nerve-wracking. This whole process had us all frustrated. It's like, we didn't know which way to turn. And our mom being finally released today, it's a blessing.
The driver of the champagne-colored Nissan Cube that hit Morgan is 22-year-old Shauna Smith. She allegedly hit Morgan and a male pedestrian in the borrowed car, abandoning the car shortly after the accident and fleeing on foot. The owner of the vehicle was fined $250 for allowing Smith to drive without a driver's license and without insurance. Smith was fined $10,000 for killing Morgan. Morgan's daughter said the sentence was a slap on the wrist and insisted no amount of money can bring their mother back.
The fact that this lady is now out there, she then paid her fine, and she didn't show any remorse to her family or anything. I really feel that we were let down.
Steele also called for harsher penalties for hit-and-run offenders. Steele thanked all those who reached out to show support and said she and her siblings are forever grateful that this difficult ordeal is finally coming to a close. Reporting for Our News, I'm Jillian Gray.
President of the Bahamas Clearingbacks Association, Gowan Bowe, says the government should not write off the International Monetary Fund's recent recommendation for the Bahamas to review its taxation system and create one that is more equitable. Bowe says the Bahamas has to explore its options. Jasmine Brown reports.
A leading financial expert calls on the government to take a serious look at the IMF's recent recommendations.
We should be open-minded and we shouldn't be closing our eyes to any opportunities because right now, or options I should say, because right now we know we still run in deficits, we still have social needs, and we still need a better way of ensuring that we meet our obligations as they come.
Bowe was responding to the IMF's 2019 Article 4 mission to the Bahamas that was released on Monday. The IMF noted that the Bahamas does not levy income or capital gains taxes, relying mostly on VAT, business license fees, and international trade taxes. It added, global tax trends and the prospective accession to the World Trade Organization present an opportunity for a comprehensive review of the Bahamian tax regime in a bid to achieving a more equitable and less distortionary tax system. Bowe says the Bahamas should look seriously at a corporate income tax.
If we're talking about revamping the tax structure, it has to be confidence in the process, confidence that we're not going to burden persons, and confidence that we will do it in the right way. So shutting down something is not confidence in terms of not doing it. It just heightens the fear that it will be snuck in later on.
The government implemented VAT at 7.5% in January 2014. Last year, in a move that was met with significant public criticism, the Minnis administration increased the rate to 12%. While in opposition, Prime Minister Dr. Hubert Minnis referred to VAT as a regressive taxation system, which has the almost certain potential to significantly and negatively increase the cost of living in every sphere upon the backs, particularly of the poorest Bahamians and the long-suffering and shrinking middle class. Given the public backlash on VAT, Bowe says now is not the time for the government to be scared of tax talk.
No, there's always going to be a natural hesitation about change. And I think we have to be brave. If we're leaders, the saying is heavy is the head that wears the crown. If you've chosen to be in that position, you should be brave enough to say, communicate what it is that you're considering and why you believe these things are the best thing for the country, even if it is not patently clear to all and sundry. And it's your job to actually convince people, or at least get them to be neutral.
The opposition has also spoken out on the report. Progressive Liberal Party Shadow Minister of Finance Chester Cooper said on Tuesday that the PLP will not support any new taxes that the Minnis administration proposes until there is better efficiency in collecting existing taxes. Reporting for Our News, I'm Jasmine Brown.
Still to come on Our News, police cracking down on drivers this Easter holiday weekend. Plus, the TUC president slams government's failure to improve labor relations. Stay tuned.